Natsarym, Shabat reading, Part 2. We will now observe the command to remember the Shabbat Yom and to keep it Qudash. Shabat, Exodus, chapter 20. That's funny. Shabat, Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Shabbat Yom to Qudash it. 6 Yomim you labor and shall do all your work, but the 7th Yom is a Shabbat of Yahuwah, your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your bond, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 Yomim Yahuwah made the Shamayim and the Arets, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the 7th Yom. Therefore, Yahuwah Baruch the Shabbat Yom and Qudash it. Shabat, Exodus, chapter 31, verse 12. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, And you speak to the children of Yasharal, saying, My Shabbatot you are to guard by all means, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, to know that I, Yahuwah, Qudash you. And you shall guard the Shabbat, for it is Qudash to you. Everyone who profanes it shall certainly be put to death. For anyone who does work on it, that being that Nafash, shall be cut off from among his people. 6 Yomim work is done, and on the Shabbat, the 7th, is the Shabbat of rest, Qudash to Yahuwah. Everyone doing work on the Shabbat Yom shall certainly be put to death, and the children of Yasharal shall guard the Shabbat, to perform the Shabbat throughout their generations, as an everlasting covenant between me and the children of Yasharal. It is a sign forever. For in 6 Yomim Yahuwah made the Shamayim and the earth and all that is in it. And on the 7th Yom he rested and was refreshed. And when he had ended speaking with him on Mount Sinai, he gave Moshe 2 tablets of the witness, tablets of sapphire stone. written with the finger of Elohim. Yahazakal, Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 5. And you shall say to them, Thus said the Adon Yahuwah, on this Yom, on the Yom when I chose Yasharal, and lifted my hand in an oath to the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known to them in the land of Natsarym. I lifted my hand in an oath to them, saying, I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. On that Yom I lifted my hand in an oath to them, to bring them out of the land of Natsarym, into a land that I had searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands. And I said to them, each one of you, throw away the abominations that are before his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Natsarym. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. But they rebelled against me and would not obey me. All of them did not throw away the abominations that were before their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Natsarym. So I resolved to pour out my wrath on them, to complete my displeasure against them in the midst of the land of Natsarym. But I acted for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned before the eyes of the Goyim, among whom they were, before those whose eyes I had made myself known to them, to bring them out of the land of Natsarym. So I took them out of the land of Natsarym, and I brought them into the wilderness, and I gave them my laws, and showed them my right rulings, that if a man does, he shall live by them. And I also gave them my Shabbatot, to be a sign between them and me, to know that I am Yahuwah, who makes them Qudash. But the house of Yasharal rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my laws, and they rejected my right rulings, that if a man does, he shall live by them. And they greatly profaned my Shabbatot. Then I said I would pour out my wrath on them in the wilderness to consume them. But I acted, for my name's sake, not to profane it before the Goyim, before whose eyes I had brought them out. And I myself also lifted my hand in an oath to them in the wilderness, not to bring them into the land that I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands. Because they rejected my right rulings, and did not walk in my laws, and they profaned my Shabbatot, for their lab went after their idols, and my eyes pardoned them from destroying them, and I did not make an end of them in the wilderness. And I said to their children in the wilderness, do not walk in the laws of your fathers, your Abim, nor observe their rulings, nor defile yourselves with their idols. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Walk in my laws and guard my right rulings, and do them, and Qudash my Shabbatut, and they shall be a sign between me and you, to know that I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. But the children rebelled against me. They did not walk in my laws, and my right rulings they did not guard to do them, that if a man does, he shall live by them. They profaned my Shabbatut, and I resolved to pour out my wrath on them, to complete my displeasure against them in the wilderness. But I held back my hand, and acted for my name's sake, not to profane it before the eyes of the Goyim, before whose eyes I had brought them out. And I myself lifted my hand in an oath to them in the wilderness, to scatter them among the Goyim, and disperse them throughout the lands, because they had not done my right rulings, and they rejected my laws, and they profaned my Shabbatut, and their eyes were on their Abim idols. And I also gave them up to laws that were not true, and right rulings by where they would not live. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, chapter 17. Verse 5. Thus said Yahuwah, cursed is the man who trusts in man, and makes flesh his arm, and whose lot turns away from Yahuwah. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and not see when Tub comes, and shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, a salt land that is not inhabited. Baruch is the man who trusts in Yahuwah, and whose trust is Yahuwah. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, that spreads out its roots by the river, and does not see when heat comes. And his leaf shall be green, and in the year of drought he is not anxious, nor does he cease from yielding fruit. The lab is crooked above all, and desperately sick. Who shall know it? I, Yahuwah, searched the lab. I tried the kidneys, and gave every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. As a partridge that broods, but does not hatch, so is he who gets riches, but not by right. It leaves him in the midst of his yomim, and at his end he is a fool. An esteemed throne, exalted from the beginning, is the place of our Makdash. O Yahuwah, the expectation of Yasharal. All who forsake you are put to shame. Those who depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken Yahuwah, the fountain of living Mayim. Heal me, O Yahuwah, so that I am healed. Save me, so that I am saved. For you are my praise. See, they say to me, where is the word of Yahuwah? Let it come now. And I have not run away from being a shepherd who follows you, nor have I longed for the woeful day. You yourself have known that what came out of my lips was before you. Do not be a ruin to me. You are my shelter in the yom of evil. Let these who persecute me be put to shame, but do not let me be put to shame. Let them be broken, but do not let me be broken. Bring on them the yom of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. Thus Yahuwah said to me, go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, by where the sovereigns of Yehudah come in, and by where they go out, and in all the gates of Yerushalayim. And you shall say to them, hear the word of Yahuwah, you sovereigns of Yehudah, and all Yehudah, and all the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, who enter by these gates. Thus said Yahuwah, guard yourselves, and bear no burden on the Shabat Yom, nor bring it in by the gates of Yerushalayim, nor take a burden out of your houses on the Shabbat Yom, nor do any work. And you shall Qudash the Shabbat Yom, as I commanded your Rabbim. But they did not obey, or incline their ear, and they made their neck stiff, not to hear, and not to receive instruction. And it shall be, if you diligently obey me, declares Yahuwah, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Shabbat Yom, and Qudash the Shabbat Yom, to do no work in it. Then sovereigns and heads, sitting on the thrones of Dawood, shall enter in through the gates of this city, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their heads, the men of Yehudah and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. And this city shall be inhabited forever. And they shall come from the cities of Yehudah, and from the places around Yerushalayim, and from the land of Banyamin, and from the low country, from the mountains, and from the Nagab, bringing burnt offerings and slaughterings, grain offerings and incense, bringing offerings of praise to the house of Yahuwah. But if you do not obey me to Qudash the Shabbat Yom, and not to bear a burden when entering the gates of Yerushalayim on the Shabbat Yom, then I shall kindle a fire in its gates, and it shall consume the palaces of Yerushalayim, and not be quenched. Word of Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Yahusha. Yarmayahu. Jeremiah chapter 6. Verse 8. Be instructed, O Yerushalayim, lest my nafash be torn from you, lest I make you a waste, a land not inhabited. Thus said Yahuwah Sabaoth, a multitude and armies. Let them thoroughly glean as a vine the remnant of Yasharal. Pass your hand again over the branches like a grape gatherer. To whom shall I speak and give warning so that they hear? See, their ear is uncircumcised, and they are unable to listen. See, the word of Yahuwah is a reproach to them. They do not delight in it. Therefore, I am filled with the wrath of Yahuwah. I have become weary of containing it. Pour it out on the children outside, and on the company of young men together. For even husband and wife shall be taken, the aged and the very old, and their houses shall be turned over to others, fields and wives together. For I shall stretch out my hand against the inhabitants of the land, declares Yahuwah. For from the least of them, even to the greatest of them, they are all greedy for gain, and from the Nab even to the Kahan, all act falsely. And they heal the breach of my people slightly, saying Shalom, Shalom, when there is no Shalom. Were they ashamed when they had done abomination? No, they were not at all ashamed, nor did they know how to blush. Therefore, they shall fall among those who fall. They shall stumble at the time I visit them, said Yahuwah. Thus said Yahuwah, stand in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, the ancient paths, where the throughway is, and walk in it, and find rest for yourselves. But they said, we do not walk. And I raised up watchmen over you. Listen to the sound of the ram's horn. But they said, we do not listen. Therefore, hear, you nations, and know, O congregation, what is upon them. Hear, O earth. See, I am bringing evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not listened to my words, nor my Torah, and they rejected it. What need have I of frankincense from Shabat, and sweet cane from a distant land? Your burnt offerings are not acceptable, and your slaughterings have not been sweet to me. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah, see, I am laying stumbling blocks before this people, and the Abim and the Banim together shall stumble on them. The neighbor and his friend shall perish. Thus said Yahuwah, see, a people shall come from the land of the north, and a great nation is stirred up from the farthest parts of the earth. They seize bow and spear. They are cruel and have no compassion. Their voice roars like the sea, and they ride on horses put in array, as a man for battle against you, O daughter of Sion. We have heard the report of it. Our hands grow weak. Distress has taken hold of us, pain as of a woman in labor. Do not go out into the field, nor walk by the way, because of the sword of the enemy. Fear is on every side, O daughter of my people. Gird on sackcloth and roll about in ashes. Make mourning as for an only bond, most bitter lamentation, because suddenly the ravager shall come upon us. I have made you a trier and a stronghold among my people, so that you know and shall try their way. All of them are rebels of rebels, walking as slanderers. They are bronze and iron. All of them are corrupters. The bellows have burned. The lead has been consumed by fire. The refiner has refined in vain. For those who are evil have not been separated. They shall call them rejected silver, because Yahuwah has rejected them. Yeshayahu, chapter 24. See, Yahuwah is making the earth empty and making it waste, and shall overturn its surface, and shall scatter abroad its inhabitants. And it shall be as with the people, so with the Kahan, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the female servant, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the creditor, so with the debtor. The earth is completely emptied and utterly plundered, for Yahuwah has spoken this word. The earth shall mourn and wither, the world shall languish and wither, the haughty people of the earth shall languish, for the earth has been defiled under its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the Torut, changed the law, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse shall consume the entire earth, and those who dwell in it be punished. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth shall be burned, and few men shall be left. The new wine shall fail, the vine shall languish, all those glad at Lab shall sigh. The joy of the tambourine shall cease, the noise of those who rejoice shall end. The joy of the lyre shall cease. No more do they drink wine with a song, and strong drink is bitter to those who drink it. The deserted city shall be broken down, every house shall be shut, no one enters. There is crying for wine in the streets. All joy shall be darkened. The gladness of the earth shall be gone. The city is left in ruins, and the gates is stricken with destruction. For thus it is to be in the midst of the earth among the peoples, like the shaking of an olive tree, like the gleaning of grapes when the grape harvest is done. They lift up their voice, but these they lift up their voice. They sing of the excellency of Yahuwah. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Therefore, esteem Yahuwah in the east, the name of Yahuwah, Alahim of Yasharal, and the coastlands of the sea. From the ends of the earth we shall hear songs, splendor to the righteous one. But I say, I waste away, I waste away. Woe to me, the treacherous betray. With treachery, the treacherous betray. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. And it shall be that he who flees from the noise of the fear falls into the pit, and he who comes up from the midst of the pit is caught in the snare. For the windows from on high shall be opened, and the foundations of the earth shall be shaken. The earth shall be utterly broken, and the earth shall be completely shattered. The earth shall be fiercely shaken, and the earth shall stagger like a drunkard, and it shall totter like a hut, and its transgression shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And in that yom it shall be that Yahuwah punishes on high the multitude of exalted ones, and on the earth the sovereigns of the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered into the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and be punished after many yomim. And the moon shall blush, and the sun shall be ashamed, for Yahuwah Sabaoth of multitudes of armies shall reign on Mount Zion, and in Jerusalem, and before his elders in esteem. Chazon, Revelation, chapter 19. And after this I heard a loud voice of a great crowd in the Shamaim, saying, Hallelujah! Deliverance and esteem and respect and power to Yahuwah, our Elohim, because true and righteous are his judgments, because he has judged the great whore who corrupted the earth with her whoring, and he has avenged on her the blood of his servants shed by her. And a second time they said, Hallelujah, and her smoke rises up forever and ever. Durudur. And the 24 elders and the 4 living creatures fell down, and Baruch Elohim, who sat on the throne, saying, Aman, Hallelujah. And a voice came from the throne, saying, Halal our Elohim, all you his servants, and those who revere him, both small and great. And I heard, as the voice of a great crowd, as the sound of many Maim, and as the sound of mighty thunders, saying, Hallelujah, for Yahuwah Al Shaddai, Almighty, reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice and give him Todah and Halal, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife prepared herself, and to her it was given to be dressed in fine linen, clean and bright, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the Qudash. And he said to me, Right Baruch are those who have been called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are the true words of Elohim. And I fell at his feet to exalt him, to barak him, to reverence him. But he said to me, See, do not. I am your fellow servant and of your Akim, who possess the witness of Yahusha, Barak Yahuwah. For the witness of Yahusha is the Ruach of Nabuah. And I saw the Shamayim opened, and there was a white horse, and he who sat on him was called trustworthy and true, and in righteousness he judges and fights. And his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, having a name that had been written that no one had perceived except himself, and having been dressed in a robe dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of Yahuwah. And the armies and the Shamayim, dressed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall shepherd them with the rod of iron. And he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Al Shaddai. And on his robe and on his banner he had a name written, Sovereign of Sovereigns, and Adon of Adanim, of Masters. And I saw one Malach, messenger, standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the birds that fly in mid-Shamayim, Come and gather together for the supper of the great Elohim, to eat the flesh of sovereigns, and the flesh of commanders, and the flesh of strong ones, and the flesh of horses, and of those who sit on them, and the flesh of all the people, free and slave, both small and great. And I saw the beast and the sovereigns of the earth, and I saw the beast and the sovereigns of the earth, and their armies gathered together to fight him who sat on the horse and his army. And the beast was seized, and with him the false prophet, who worked signs in his presence, by where he led astray those who received the mark of the beast, and those who revered his image. The two were thrown alive into the lake of fire, burning with sulfur, and the rest were killed with the sword that came from the mouth of him who sat on the horse, and all the birds were filled with their flesh. Chazon, Revelation, chapter 20. And I saw a Malach coming down from the Shamayim, having the key to the pit of the deep, and a great chain in his hand. And he seized the dragon, the serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he threw him into the pit of the deep, and shut him up, and put a seal on him, so that he should lead the nations no more astray, until the 1,000 years were ended. And after that he has to be released for a little while. And I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was given to them, and the chaim of those who had been beheaded, because of the witness they bore to Yahusha, and because of the word of Yahuwah, and who did not barak and esteem and exalt and reverence the beast, nor his image, and did not receive his mark upon their foreheads or upon their hands. And they lived and reigned with Mashiach for 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead did not come to Chai until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Baruch and Qudash is the one having part in the first resurrection. The second death possesses no authority over these, but they shall be Kahanim, ministers of Yahuwah and of Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000-year Shabat has ended, Satan shall be released from his prison, and he shall go out to lead the nations astray that are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for the battle, whose number is as the sand of the sea. And they came up over the breadth of the earth, and surrounded the camp of the Qudashim and the beloved city, and fire came down from Elohim out of the Shamayim and consumed them, and the devil who led them astray was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tortured day and night forever and ever. Dur, Utur. And I saw a great white throne, and him who was sitting on it, from whose face the earth and the Shamayim had fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and books were opened, and another book was opened, that is, Chai. And the dead were judged from what was written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and the grave gave up the dead who were in them. And they were judged, each one according to his works. And death and the grave were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And if anyone was not found written in the book of Chai, he was thrown into the lake of fire. Yashayahu, Isaiah, chapter 13. The message concerning Babylon, Babel, that Yashayahu, ban of Amoz, saw. Lift up a banner on the high mountain, raise your voice to them, wave your hand, let them enter the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my Qudashim, I have also called my mighty men from my displeasure, my proudly exulting ones. The noise of an uproar in the mountains, like that of many people, a noise of uproar of the reins of the Goyim gathered together. Yahuwah, Sabaoth, of multitudes and armies, is also gathering an army for battle. They are coming from a distant land, from the ends of the Shamayim above, even Yahuwah and his weapons of displeasure, to destroy all the earth. Howl, for the Yom of Yahuwah is near. It comes as a destruction from Al Shaddai. Therefore, all hands go limp, every man's lap melts, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows take hold of them. They are in pain as a woman in labor. They are amazed at one another, their faces aflamed. See, the Yom of Yahuwah is coming, fierce with wrath and heat of displeasure, to lay the earth waste and to destroy its sinners from it. For the stars of the Shamayim and their constellations do not give off their light. The sun shall be dark at its rising, and the moon not send out its light. And I shall punish the world for its evil, and the wicked for their wickedness, and shall put an end to the arrogance of the proud, and lay low the pride of the ruthless. I shall make mortal man scarcer than fine gold, and mankind than the gold of Ophir. So I shall make the Shamayim tremble, and the earth shall shake from her place, in the wrath of Yahuwah, Sabaoth of multitudes and armies, and in the yom of the heat of his displeasure. And it shall be as the hunted gazelle, and as a sheep that no man takes up. Every man turns to his own people, and everyone flees to his own land. Whoever is found is thrust through, and everyone taken falls by the sword, and their children are dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses are plundered, and their wives ravished. See, I am stirring up the Madim against them, who do not regard silver, and as for gold, they do not delight in it. And bows dash the young to pieces, and they have no compassion on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes spare no children. And Babylon, Babel, the splendor of reigns, the comeliness of the Kasdim, pride, shall be as when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Amorah. She shall never be inhabited, nor be established from generation to generation, nor shall the Arabian pitch tents there, nor shepherds rest their flocks there, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be filled with owls, and ostriches shall dwell there, and wild goats frolic there, and hyenas shall cry in their citadels, and jackals in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days are not drawn out. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 14. For Yahuwah has compassion on Yaakov, and shall again choose Yasharal, and give them rest in their own land. And the strangers shall join them, and they shall cling to the house of Yaakov, and peoples shall take them, and bring them to their own place. And the house of Yasharal shall possess them for servants and female servants in the land of Yahuwah. And they shall make captives of their captors, and rule over their oppressors. And it shall be in the Yom Yahuwah gives you rest from your sorrow and from your trouble, and the hard service in what you were made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the sovereign of Babel, and say, how the oppressor has ceased, the gold gatherer ceased. Yahuwah has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with ceaseless blows, he who ruled the Goyim in displeasure is persecuted, and no one restrains. All the earth is at rest, and at shalom. They shall break forth into singing. Even the cypress trees rejoice over you, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you were cut down, no woodcutter has come upon against us. The grave from beneath is excited about you, to meet you at your coming. It stirs up the dead for you, all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the sovereigns of the Goyim. All of them respond and say to you, have you also become as weak as we? Have you become like us? Your arrogance has been brought down to the grave, and the sound of your stringed instruments. The maggot is spread under you, and worms cover you. How you have fallen from the Shamayim, O Halal, Ban of the rising. You have been cut down to the ground. You who laid low the goyim, the nations. For you have said in your love, let me go up to the Shamayim, let me raise my throne above the stars of Al, and let me sit in the mountain of meeting on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds. Let me be like the Most High. But you are brought down to the grave, to the sides of the pit. Those who see you stare at you and ponder over you, saying, is this the one who made the earth tremble, who shook rains, who made the world as a wilderness and destroyed its cities, who would not open the house of his prisoners? All the sovereigns of the Goyim, all of them, were laid in esteem, everyone in his own house. But you have been thrown from your grave like an abominable branch, like the garment of those who are slain, thrust through with a sword, who go down to the stones of the pit like a trampled corpse. You are not joined with them in burial, for you have destroyed your land and slain your people. Let the seed of evildoers never be mentioned. Prepare his children for slaughter because of the wickedness of their Abim, lest they rise up and possess the land and fill the face of the world with cities. And I shall rise up against them, declares Yahuwah Sabaoth, and shall cut off from Babel the name and remnant and offspring and descendant, declares Yahuwah. And I shall make it a possession for the porcupine and marshes of muddy water, Maim, and shall sweep it with the broom of destruction, declares Yahuwah Sabaoth. Yahuwah Sabaoth has sworn, saying, truly as I have planned, so shall it be, and as I have purposed, so it stands, to break Ashur in my land, and to tread him down on my mountains, and his yoke shall be removed from them, and his burden removed from their shoulders. This is the counsel that is counseled for all the earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out over all the nations. For Yahuwah Sabaoth has counseled, and who knows it? And the hand that is stretched out, who turns it back? This is the message that came in the year that sovereign Ahaz died. Do not rejoice, all you of Palashat, that the rod that smote you is broken. For out of the serpent's roots comes forth an adder, and its offspring is a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy lie down in safety. And I shall kill your roots with scarcity of food, and it shall slay your remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city. Melt away, all you of Palashat, for smoke shall come from the north, and there no stranger is in his ranks, and there is no stranger in his ranks. And what does one answer the messengers of a nation? That Yahuwah has founded Sion, and the poor of his people take refuge in it. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 26. And in that Yom, this song is sung in the land of Yehuda. We have a strong city. He who appoints deliverance, walls and ramparts. Open the gates. Let the righteous nation that guards the truth enter in. The one steadfast of mind, you guard in perfect shalom. For he trusts in you. Trust in Yahuwah forever. For in Yahuwah is a rock of ages. For he shall bring down those who dwell on high. He lays the exalted city low. He lays it low to the earth. He brings it down to the dust. A foot tramples it down, the feet of the poor, the footsteps of the needy. The path of the righteous is uprightness. O upright one, you weigh the course of the righteous, also in the path of your right rulings. O Yahuwah, we have waited for you. The longing of Nafash is for your name and for the remembrance of you. My being longs for you in the night. Also, my Nafash, my being within me, seeks you earnestly. For when your right rulings are in the Arats, the inhabitants of the world shall learn righteousness. The wicked even finds favor, yet he shall learn righteousness. In the land of straightforwardness, he acts perversely. Repeat that. The wicked finds favor, yet he shall not learn righteousness. In the land of straightforwardness, he acts perversely, and does not see the excellency of Yahuwah. O Yahuwah, your hand is high. They do not see. They see the ardor of your people and are ashamed. Also, let the fire for your adversaries consume them. O Yahuwah, you establish shalom for us, for you have also done all our works in us. O Yahuwah, our Elohim, other masters besides you have had rule over us, but only in your name do we make mention of your name. But only in you do we make mention of your name. The dead do not live, the departed spirits do not rise. Therefore, you have visited and destroyed them, and made all their remembrance to perish. You shall increase the nation, O Yahuwah. You shall increase the nation. You are esteemed. You shall expand all the borders of the land, O Yahuwah. In distress they shall visit you. They shall pour out a supplication when your disciplining is upon them. As a woman with child and about to give birth writhes and cries out in her pain, so shall we be before your face, O Yahuwah. We have conceived, we writhed in pain, we have given birth to wind. We have not accomplished deliverance in the Arats, nor have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Let your dead live, and my dead body, let them arise. Awake and sing, you who dwell in the dust, for your dew is a dew of light, and let the Arats give birth to the departed spirits. Go, my people, into your rooms, and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourselves, as it were, for a little while, until the displeasure is past. For look, Yahuwah is coming out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth.
Now you can save on Cox Internet when you add Cox Mobile, which means fiber-powered internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. Do more without spending more. Get Cox Internet for just $35 a month when you add Cox Mobile.
For look, Yahuwah is coming out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their wickedness, and the earth shall disclose her blood and no longer cover her slain. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 32. See, a sovereign shall reign in righteousness, and rulers rule in right ruling, and each one shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a shelter from the downpour, as Maim, as rivers of Maim in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of those who see are not dim, and the ears of those who hear listen, and the lob of the rash understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammers hurries to speak plainly. A fool is no longer called noble, nor the scoundrel said to be respectable. For a fool speaks folly, and his lob works wickedness, to practice filthiness, and to speak against Yahuwah, that what misleads, to starve the being of the hungry, and to withhold the drink from the thirsty. And the methods of the scoundrel are evil. He has devised wicked plans to destroy the poor with words of falsehood, even when the needy pleads for right ruling. But the generous one devises what is generous, and by generous deeds he rises up. Rise up, you women who are at ease. Hear my voice, you complacent daughters. Listen to my speech. In little more than a year you shall be troubled, you complacent women, for the grape harvest shall fail, the ingathering shall not come. Tremble, you women who are at ease. Be troubled, you complacent ones. Strip yourselves and make yourselves bare, and gird sackcloth on your waists. Lament upon the breasts for the pleasant fields, for the fruit-bearing vines, the righteous ones. Weeds and thorn bushes come up over the ground of my people. Indeed, over all the houses of joy, the city of revelry. For the palace is abandoned, the crowded city deserted. Hill and watchtower serve as capes forever. For a joy of wild donkeys, a pasture of flocks, until the Ruach is poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness shall become as garden land, and the garden land be reckoned as a forest. Then right ruling shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the garden land. The work of righteousness shall be shalom, and the service of righteousness be rest and safety forever. And my people shall dwell in a home of shalom, and in safe dwellings, and in undisturbed resting places. Even when hail shall fall, felling the forest, the city, and the city be brought low in humiliation. Baruch are you, who sow beside all waters, Almaim, who send out the foot of the ox, and the donkey. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8. And go, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it on a scroll, that it is for a latter Yom, the last Yomim, a witness forever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahuwah, who say to the seers, do not see, and to the Nabim, do not nabah to us what is right, speak to us what is smooth, nabah deceits, turn aside from the way, swerve from the path, cause the Qudash one of Yasharal to cease from before us. Therefore, thus said the Qudash one of Yasharal, because you despise this word, and trust rather in oppression and perverseness and rely on them, therefore this wickedness is to you like a breach ready to fall, a bulge in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly, swiftly, and he shall break it like the breaking of the potter's vessel, that is broken in pieces without sparing, so that there is not found among its fragments a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water from the cistern. For thus said the Adon Yahuwah, the Qudash one of Yasharal, in returning and rest you are saved. In stillness and trust is your strength, but you would not. And you said, no, for we flee upon horses, therefore you flee. And we ride on swift horses, therefore those who pursue you are swift. 1,000 at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5, you shall flee until you are left as a pole on top of a mountain, and as a sign on a hill. And therefore Yahuwah shall wait to show you compassion and favor, and therefore he shall be exalted to have compassion on you. For Yahuwah is an Elohim of right ruling. Baruch are all those who wait for him, for the people shall dwell in Sion at Yerushalayim. You shall weep no more. He shall show much favor to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears, he shall answer you. Though Yahuwah gave you bread of adversity and water of affliction, your teacher shall no longer be hidden, but your eyes shall see your teachers, and your ears hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it, whenever you turn to the right, or whenever you turn to the left. And you shall defile the covering of your graven images of silver, and the plating of your molded images of gold. You shall throw them away as a minstrel cloth, and say to them, be gone. And he shall give the rain for you, seed with where you sow the ground, and bread of the increase of the earth, and it shall be fat and rich, your cattle grazing in an enlarged pasture in the day, in the yom, and the oxen and the young donkeys, the work that work the ground, eat seasoned fodder, winnowed with shovel and fan. And on every high mountain and on every high hill there shall be rivers and streams of water of Maim. And in that yom of great killing, when the towers fall, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun be sevenfold as the light of 7 yomim. And the yom that Yahuwah binds up the breach of his people, and heals the wound of his blows. See, the name of Yahuwah is coming from afar, burning with his wrath, and heavy smoke. His lips shall be filled with rage, and his tongue be as a devouring fire, and his breath shall be as an overflowing stream that reaches up to the neck, to sift the nations with a sieve of falsehood and a misleading bridle on the jaws of the peoples. But let this song be to you as a night Qudash for a festival, and gladness of loud, as he who is going with a flute to come into the mountain of Yahuwah, to the rock of Yasharal. And Yahuwah shall cause his excellent voice to be heard, and show the coming down of his arm with raging wrath, and the flame of a consuming fire, with scattering and downpour and hailstones. For through the voice of Yahuwah Ashur is broken down, with a rod he smites, and every passage of the ordained staff with where Yahuwah lays on him shall be with tambourines and lyres, when he shall fight with it, battling with a brandishing arm. For Tuphath, the valley of flames, was ordained of old, even for the sovereign it has been prepared. He has made it deep and large, its fire pit with much wood. The breath of Yahuwah as a stream of burning sulfur kindles it and is burning in it. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 56. Thus said Yahuwah, guard right ruling and do righteousness, for near is my deliverance to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Baruch is the man who does this, and the bond of man who lays hold on it, guarding the Shabat, lest he profane it, and guarding his hand from doing any evil. And let not the bond of the foreigner who has joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah has certainly separated me from his people. Nor let the eunuch say, Look, I am a dry tree. For thus said Yahuwah to the eunuchs who guard my Shabbatut, and have chosen what pleases me, and hold fast to my covenant. To them I shall give in my house, and within my walls, a place and a name better than that of the Banim and daughters. I give them an everlasting name that is not cut off. Also the Banim of the foreigner, who join themselves to Yahuwah, to serve him, and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, all who guard the Shabbat and not profane it, and hold fast to my covenant. Them I shall bring to my Qudash mountain, and let them rejoice in my house of supplication and meditation. Their burnt offerings and their slaughterings are accepted on my altar. For my house is called a house of supplication and meditation for all the peoples, all the nations. The Adon Yahuwah, who gathers the outcasts of Yasharal, declares, I still gather to him besides those who are gathered to him. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 4. And it shall be, and in that yom 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We shall eat our own food and wear our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. In that yom, the branch of Yahuwah shall be splendid and esteemed, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for the escaped ones of Yasharal. And it shall be that he who is left in Sion and he who remains in Yerushalayim is called Qudash, everyone who is written among the living in Yerushalayim. When Yahuwah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Sion, and rinsed away the blood of Yerushalayim from her midst, by the Ruach of judgment and by the Ruach of burning, then Yahuwah shall create above every dwelling place of Mount Sion, and above her assemblies, a cloud, and a smoke by yom, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For over all the esteem shall be a covering, and a booth for shade in the yom time, from the heat, for a place of refuge, and for a shelter from the storm and rain. Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 58, verse 12. And those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you would be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to dwell in. If you do turn back your foot from the Shabat, from doing your own pleasure on my Qudash Yom, and shall call the Shabat a delight, the Qudash of Yahuwah esteemed, and shall esteem it, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasures, nor speaking your own words. Then you shall delight yourself in Yahuwah, and I shall cause you to ride on the heights of the Arats, and feed you with the inheritance of Yaakov, your Abba, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken. Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 60. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the esteem of Yahuwah has risen upon you. For look, darkness covers the earth, and darkness clouds the peoples. But Yahuwah arises over you, and his esteem is seen upon you. And the Goyim, the nations, shall come to your light, and sovereigns to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around and see. All of them have gathered. They have come to you. Your banim, your children, come from afar, and your daughters are supported on their side. Then you shall see and be bright, and your lobes shall throb and swell. For the wealth of the sea is turned to you. The riches of the nations, the Goyim, come to you. A stream of camels cover your land. The dromedaries of Midian and Apha, all those from Sheba, come, bearing gold and incense, and proclaiming the praises, the halal of Yahuwah. All the flocks of Kedar are gathered to you. The rams of Nabayut serve you. They come up for acceptance on my altar, and I embellish my esteemed house. Who are these who fly like a cloud and like doves to their windows? Because the coastlands wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring your banim from afar, their silver and their gold with them, to the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and to the Qudash one of Yasharal, because he has adorned you. And the banim of foreigners shall build your walls, and their sovereigns serve you. For in my wrath I have smitten you, but in my delight I have compassion on you, and your gates shall be open continually. They are not shut yom or night, to bring to you the wealth of the Gentile nations and their sovereigns in procession. For the nation and the reign that do not serve you shall perish, and those goyim shall be utterly laid waste. The esteem of Lebanon shall come to you, cypress, pine, and the box tree together, to embellish the place of my Mikdash, and I shall make the place of my feet esteemed, and the banim of those who afflicted you come bowing to you, and all those who despised you shall bow themselves at the soles of your feet. And they shall call you City of Yahuwah, Sion, of the Qudash one of Yasharal, instead of you being forsaken and hated, so that no one passes through you. I shall make you an everlasting excellence, a joy of many generations. And you shall drink dry the milk of the goyim, and shall milk the breast of their sovereigns. And you shall know that I, Yahuwah, your Savior and your Redeemer, am the Elohim of Yaakov. Instead of bronze, I bring gold, and instead of iron, I bring silver, and bronze instead of wood, and iron instead of stones. And I shall make your officers shalom, and your magistrates righteousness. Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, neither wasting nor ruin within your borders. And you shall call your walls deliverance, and your gates praise. No longer is the sun your light by Yom, nor does the moon give light to you for brightness, but Yahuwah shall be to you an everlasting light, and your Elohim your comeliness. No longer does your sun go down, nor your moon withdraw itself, for Yahuwah shall be your everlasting light, and the Yomim of your mourning shall be ended, and your people, all of them righteous, shall inherit the earth forever, a branch of my planting, a work of my hands, to be adorned. The little one shall become 1,000, and the small one a strong nation. I, Yahuwah, shall hasten it in its time. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 65. I have let myself be inquired of not by those who asked. I was found not by those who sought me. I said, here I am, to a nation not calling on my name. I have held out my hands all yom long to a stubborn people who walk in a way that is not right, after their own thoughts. The people who provoke me continually to my face, who slaughter in gardens and burn incense on altars of bricks, who sit among the graves and cemeteries and spend the night in secret places, who eat the flesh of pigs, and the broth of uncleanness is in their pot, who say, keep to yourself, do not come near to me, for I am Qudash, more cleaner than you, and to you. These are smoke in my nostrils, a fire that burns all yom. See, it is written before me, I am not silent, but shall repay, and I shall repay into their bosom your wickednesses and the wickednesses of your Abim together, said Yahuwah. For they say, keep to yourself, do not come near me, for I am Qudash, separated, sacred to you, Qudash to you, who burn incense on the mountains and reproach me on the hills, and I shall measure their former work into their bosom. Thus said Yahuwah, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one shall say, do not destroy it, for there is a baraka favoring in it. So I do for my servant's sake, not to destroy them all. And I shall bring forth a seed from Jacob, and from Yehuda, and an heir of my mountains, and my chosen ones shall inherit it, and my servants dwell there. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks, and the valley of Achor a place for herds to lie down, for my people who have sought me. But you are those who forsake Yahuwah, who forget my Qudash mountain, my Torah, who prepare a table for God, and who fill a drink offering for money. And I shall allot you to the sword, and let you all bow down to the slaughter, because I called, and you did not answer. I spoke this word, and you did not hear. And you did evil before my eyes, and chose that in what I did not delight. Therefore, thus said the Adon Yahuwah, see, my true servants eat, but you hunger. See, my servants drink, but you thirst. See, my servants shall rejoice, but you are put to shame. See, my servants sing for joy of love, but you cry for sorrow of love, and wail for breaking of nafash of being. And you shall leave your name as a curse to my chosen, for the Adon Yahuwah shall put you to death, and call his servants by another name, so that he who Baruch himself in the earth, in the Arats, Barak himself in the Alahim of truth, and he who swears in the earth swears by the Alahim of truth, because the former distresses shall be forgotten, and because they shall be hidden from my eyes. For look, I am creating a new Shamayim and a new Arats, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to Lab, but be glad and rejoice forever in what I create. For look, I create Yerushalayim, a rejoicing, and her people, a joy. And I shall rejoice in Yerushalayim, and shall joy in my people, and let the voice of weeping no more be heard in her, nor the voice of crying. No more is an infant from there going to live but a few yomim, nor an old man who does not complete his yomim. For the youth dies at 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be lightly esteemed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit, they shall not plant and another eat. For the yomim of my people are going to be as the yomim of a tree, and my chosen ones outlive the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth children for trouble, for they are the seed of the Baruch of Yahuwah, and their offspring with them. And it shall be that before they call, I answer, and while they are still speaking, I hear. Wolf and lamb feed together, a lion eats straw as an ox, and dust is the snake's food. They shall do no evil, nor destroy in all my Qudash mountain, says Yahuwah. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 66. Thus said Yahuwah, the Shamayim are my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is this house that you built for me, and where is this place of my rest? And all these my hand has made, and all these that exist, declares Yahuwah. Yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of being, and who trembles at my word. Whoever slaughters the bull slays a man. The wicked who slaughters the lamb is as if he breaks a dog's neck, and the wicked who brings a grain offering is as pig's blood, and he who brings burnt incense is as if he baruch an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abominations. I shall also choose their punishments, and bring their fears on them. Because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, and they did not hear. And they did evil before my eyes, and chose what was displeasing to me. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you who tremble at his word, your brothers, your Akim, who hate you, who cast you out for my name's sake, said, Let Yahuwah be esteemed, so that we see your joy. But they are put to shame. A roaring sound from a city, a voice from the Haikal, the dwelling of Yahuwah, the voice of Yahuwah, repaying his enemies. Before she labored, she gave birth. Before a pain came to her, she was delivered of a male child. Who has heard the like of this? Who has seen the like of these? Is a land brought forth in one yom? Is a nation born at once? For as soon as Sion labored, she gave birth to her children. Shall I bring to birth and not give delivery? Says Yahuwah. Shall I who give delivery restrain birth? Said your Elohim. Rejoice with Yerushalayim and be glad with her, all you who love her. Rejoice greatly with her. Rejoice greatly with her. Rejoice greatly with her. Rejoice with Yerushalayim and be glad with her. All you who love her, rejoice greatly with her. All you who mourn for her, so that you feed and shall be satisfied with the breasts of her comforts, so that you drink deeply and shall delight yourselves in her overflowing esteem. For thus said Yahuwah, see, I am extending shalom to her like a river, and the esteem of the Goyim like a flowing stream, and you shall feed. You shall be carried on the side, and be fondled on her knees, as one whom his mother comforts. So I comfort you, and in Yerushalayim you are comforted. And you shall see, and your locks shall rejoice, and your bones flourish as tender grass. And the hand of Yahuwah shall be known to his servants, and his displeasure to his enemies. For look, Yahuwah comes with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his displeasure with burning, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword Yahuwah shall judge all flesh, and the slain of Yahuwah shall be many. Those who Qudash themselves and cleanse themselves at the gardens, after one in the cemetery in the midst, eating the flesh of pigs, and the abomination and the mouse, come to an end altogether, declares Yahuwah. And I, because of their works and their imaginations, am coming to gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my esteem. And I shall point a sign among them, a standard to them, and shall send some of those who escape to the nations, Tarshish and Pul and Lud, who draw the bow, and Tubal and Yawan, the Greeks, the coastlands afar off, who have not heard of my report, nor have seen my esteem. And they shall declare my esteem among the Goyim, and they shall bring all your Achim, your brothers, as an offering to Yahuwah. Out of all the Goyim, the nations, on horses, and in chariots, and in litters, on mules, and on camels, to my Qudash mountain, Yerushalayim, declares Yahuwah, as the children of Yasharal bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of Yahuwah. And from them too I shall take for Kahanim, for Elohim, declares Yahuwah. For as the new Shamayim and the new Arats that I make stand before me, declares Yahuwah, so your seed and your name shall stand. And it shall be that from Rosh Kadash to Rosh Kadash, new moon to new moon, and from Shabat to Shabat, all flesh shall come to reverence before me, declares Yahuwah. And they shall go forth and look upon the corpses of the men who have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, and their fire not be quenched, and they shall be repulsive to all flesh. Tahalim, Psalms, chapter 16, 17, 16 and 17. Guard me, O Al, for I have taken refuge in you. I have said to Yahuwah, you are Yahuwah. I have no two besides you. As for the Qudashim who are on the earth, they are the excellent ones in whom is all my delight. The sorrows of those who run after another one are increased. I will not pour out their drink offerings of blood, nor would I take up their names, the names of false mighty ones on my lips. Yahuwah is the portion of my inheritance and my cup. You uphold my lot. Boundary lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. Indeed, a Tub inheritance is mine. I barak Yahuwah, who has given me counsel. My kidneys also instruct me in the nights. I have put Yahuwah always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I am not shaken. Therefore my law was glad, and my esteem rejoices. My flesh also dwells in safety. For you do not leave my being in the grave, neither let your kind committed one see corruption. You show me the path of Chai. In your presence is joy to satisfaction. At your right hand are pleasures forever. Tahalim, Psalms chapter 17. Hear righteousness, O Yahuwah. Listen to my cry. Give ear to my supplication, from lips without deceit. Let my right ruling go out from your presence.